Oh, John David.
Mr. Mayor, how are you? Sure. How old are you?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, y'all, love water?
Just don't put more in it. That's all.
I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that.
Thank you.
My brother's
It's live, so. You should be able to get the town website. Is that meeting link on the town website where you can click on it? It should be there. Or Mickey can go to YouTube and type it. Okay? All right.
Just wanted to know if I'm still back up. I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness. I'm gonna turn it on to you.
What's the problem? Bring it, yeah.
Hey, Ron, can you put up 3 minutes?
Did it take me longer to go get my computer?
How much time we got?
I can keep it on here and look at it.
Can you keep it for me?
Yeah, I'll keep
Okay.
it. Yeah. $200. Yeah.
Really? I think I heard I have a friend that's in the beach and he had told me so that's the famous song says that's interesting. Yeah. You know, I just wanted to for a long time. I've seen that come up. Really? Well, that's interesting. I can tell my friend he's going to look that up. He's interested in doing the teacher too. He's got some. But I will tell him. Good to see you.
I can only fit your name so many places. But there's a new door that's related to your head. Which is his face. Your name? Your name being it's such a positively good one. I can't even begin. From hell or high water.
I can't.
No, it's when I get irritated, I get more and more high pitched. I would ask you for permission. It's all we care.
You have a lot there. Hey, absolutely.
Especially yes. I can drink my coffee before my brain. You go with No, I get it. I don't know where the 8 came from. It's in my uncle.
Okay, may I have your attention at this time?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes approved. Okay, moving on, consider approval of an on-premise beer permit for the Red Fork Restaurant located at 105 South Main Avenue, Irwin. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ron Blankenship. Ron, you care to step up?
Folks, I'll get the file here. You all have the whole entire application with the exception of the certificate of occupancy that was done. So they meet all the requirements. They are the first recipients of our Hood Grant initiative that we passed. All that documentation has been filed and a check will be cut this week. They meet all the requirements. Attorney Seeley has looked over it again today. We saw no issues with it. I want to say how much of a pleasure it's been to work with Kevin Masters, Mr. Rizzuto, Theo Harris, and the whole entire project. They've been very attentive to everything that we've asked. We've probably been in there 3 or 4 times in the last 2 weeks, just looking at things. Just wanted to take a moment to just say how proud of this thing we are and see no reason. It's up to you all.
Thank you, Ron. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Any questions for Ron?
There were just some things I noticed that those will be finished, I'm assuming.
They're already done.
They're already done?
We did it today before we put the final certificate. We were just gonna do a temporary because it was good enough to pass for that, but everything's good. They did the fire caulk, they sealed the protrusions. They did, like I said, they did everything we asked and it was done this morning by what time, Kevin? 9:11. We got there about 1:30, did the walkthrough, and from our standpoint, as soon as they get the 3 fire extinguishers placed and Jason does the firewalk, they'll be ready to run.
Is there anything else? Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll?
Alderwoman Vaughn.
Yes.
Alderman Baker.
Yes.
Alderwoman Haskins.
Yes.
Alderwoman Andrews.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes.
Motion approved. Thank you, everyone. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Thanks, guys. Meeting adjourned.
Will everyone please rise? I call the Irwin Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting in order. Monday, April 22nd, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. I will lead the invocation. Alderman Baker will lead us in our pledge to our flag. Would everyone please bow their heads, please? Precious Father, thank you for allowing us to be here today, Lord. I pray, Lord, that you'll guide this board according to thy will and help us, Lord, to do the very, very best for our citizens. Lord, also, I'd like to ask that you look over Ms. Hatcher, Dr. Hatcher's wife, who is sick with COVID, and it's why he's not here tonight. Anything we do, Lord, we do about building that kingdom. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. Mr. Baker.
Attention, salute, pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll, please?
Alderwoman Vaughn.
Present.
Alderman Baker. Here. Alderwoman Haskins.
Here.
Alderwoman Andrews.
Still here.
Mayor White.
Here. Moving on to number 4, BMA members in the packet of minutes of the previous meeting on April 8th. It's a regular meeting. Any discussions on those minutes?
Do we need to add in there that we tabled the motion, or how does that work? I saw that pending the discussion.
This is reset.
Okay. Instead of table.
Okay. So we good there, okay. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Citizenry, this is the time that we open the floor up for the citizens to come and address the BMA. It's a 3-minute, presentation. It's not a give and take back from, the BMA. It's just giving you the opportunity to come and speak. So anyone here that would like to come and address the board, please come forward. Mr. Day, we know who you are. If you would, for the record, sir, your name and your address. You have 3 minutes.
John Day, I'm on Old Stage Road in Irwin. Be brief. I got a couple of small things. Big thing really for, Ms. Bradley, we had a meeting last week and we talked about getting our meetings advertised or notified on our website, and that's already done. She just jumped on that. It was done last week. And it's also, it's on the community calendar and it's also on the Facebook page. And eventually we'll get the, as I understand, our minutes, our meetings, and our agenda and those things for the public to be able to see. That's going to be great. That's a big addition. I appreciate and commend her very much for the work she's done on that. The next thing is, and I gave you all a copy of the statute 137203 on advertising rezoning. And as I learned last week, we're advertising that in the newspapers, both newspapers, because the best of my determination, an archaic law, that law was enacted in 1984. I don't think we're anymore anything electronic. And that, so and it also mentions a document that nobody seems to know what it is, called an official municipal journal. So they give you 2 options: municipal journal, this official municipal journal, or the newspaper. I couldn't find anybody, and I couldn't find that document name on anything on the web. I think it's an archaic. I think at one time, towns, cities probably published a little informational newsletter for the public or something. That's where this came from. However, I've sent an email to Jason Mumbauer, our comptroller, and I asked him to verify that for us. If you can, to get an opinion at least from the Attorney General, we can have some clarification. I think we need to move all of our stuff up on our internet, on our websites, and stop paying money to put ads and print it. We're way beyond that technologically. We just need to get up to speed. I'm asking you folks to move that forward if you would. So I think you'll get more community involvement. I think you'll make a lot of folks happy. When I get the response back from Mr. Mumbauer, I'll email it to you, and you can do what you wish, as always, but I'm just encouraging you to, let's move us forward into the space age.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Is there anyone else here that would like to address the BMA? Please come forward. Okay, I'll close this session of the meeting. Thank you. Moving on, are there any reports from the members of the board or any other officers? Okay, moving on to communication from the mayor. There's several issues that I need to address the BMA over and the citizens. This is from the Unicoi County Farm Bureau. That says, "Dear Glenn, Ryan, and Auburn, it is our pleasure to invite you to attend the first annual Unicoi County Farm Bureau Legislative Breakfast, sponsored by the Unicoi County Farm Bureau on May the 4th at 8 a.m. at the Unicoi County Farm Bureau office. State Senator Steve Sutherland, State Representative John Hostall Jr. have both been invited to attend, along with other legislators. Each legislator will be given an opportunity for remarks, with questions and answer sessions to follow. A complimentary breakfast will be provided. Although attendance is free, a reservation is required. Please call the Unicoi County Farm Bureau by May the 1st, 2024 to confirm your attendance so we may plan accordingly. Again, I do hope that you will be available to attend the legislative breakfast. Thank you for your support of Unicoi County and the Unicoi County Farm Bureau. Sincerely, Renee Jones, Unicoi County Farm Bureau Board of Directors. So, Alderman, that's going to be on May the 4th at 8 a.m. And if you plan to attend, please contact Ms. Jones there by May the 1st. Okay, thank you on that. Also, proclamation to read. It is the National Day of Prayer by the Mayor of Irwin, a proclamation for the National Day of Prayer. Whereas throughout history, America has faced trials and triumphs, and Americans have responded in prayer, seeking courage and comfort, inspiration, and joy-filled celebration. Faith compels us to seek and cling to the light in times of darkness, and a spread of light to those in need. Whereas from the first gatherings of our founding fathers, elected officials have prayed and entreated those that serve and represent to join them in prayer, including the authors of our Declaration of Independence. Wrote they, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world, and carried on to present day in presidential proclamations such as last year's invitation to join him in asking for God's continued guidance, mercy, and protection. And whereas a National Day of Prayer has not only been a part of our heritage since it was declared by the First Continental Congress in 1775, but it is a public law established in the United States Congress in 1952, approved by a joint resolution and amended by Congress and President Reagan with Public Law 100-307 in 1988, affirming that it is essential for us as a nation to pray, and directs the President of the United States to set aside and proclaim the first Thursday of May annually as the National Day of Prayer. And whereas in every state across America, the observance of the National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, with the theme, Lift Up the World, Light Up the World, based on the verses found in 2 Samuel 22, chapter 22, 29 through 31 verses. For you are my lamp, O Lord, O my God, lightens my darkness. For this God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord proves true. He is a shield for all of us who take a refuge in him. And whereas unified prayer is mobilized across America every first Thursday of May on the National Day of Prayer, as neighbors come together to join their hearts and their voices in reading sacred scriptures and attending services to seek God for the city and the county where we live, learn, work, and worship, serve, and desire all to thrive. And whereas we express our faith and exercise our freedom of prayer, we unite our hearts and voices in personal prayers and public gatherings across America with fervent praise, repentance, love, and humble intercession for our neighbor and our nation, holding fast to the promises throughout the Holy Scriptures that the Lord hears and avails much as he answers the faith-filled prayers of his people. Therefore, I, Glenn White, Mayor of Irwin, by virtue of authority vested in me by the state of Tennessee and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim May 2nd, 2024 as a National Day of Prayer. So, I wanted to read that to the citizenry and also to the BMA members. With that being said, that's all the communications that I have from the Mayor's office. Moving on to consideration, 6.1, consider special event request revision for the Chamber of Commerce 5K race. Mr. Baker.
Amanda, you want to speak on this?
Yes. Good evening. We submitted, I believe, in November or December requests for all of our events for this year. And at that time, we submitted the request for June 29th for the 5K. Once we got a little further into planning, I'll kind of back up, the event had always been the last Saturday of June. Once we got into planning, working with race directors from We Run Events, Hank informed us of another really large event that would be a competition of our event on June 29th. So we felt it was in the best interest to move our event to June 22nd. The We Run Events calendar had not been set at that time, so it worked out better for our event to be able to move it. So we're requesting that we can resubmit the events request and have the race on the 22nd rather than the 29th.
Okay. Any discussion from BMA on this? Okay. Do I have a motion to move the Lincoln County Chamber of Commerce 5K race from June the 29th, 2024 to June the 22nd, 2024?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll?
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Alderwoman Huskins,
Abstain.
Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Dell.
Thank you.
Moving on to 6.2, consider parking request from the Unicoi County High School band boosters. Mr. Bailey.
This is, the use of the, Morgan property. This would be just for the Trails and Tunes Festival, the band boosters from the high school have requested that, and we're the first ones to request, they're the only ones that have requested.
Okay,
I make a motion.
Vice Mayor Evans has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll?
Alderwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Huskins,
Yes.
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Moving on to 6.3, consider the press event request from Ms. Debbie Tittle. Is Ms. Tittle here? Okay, Mr. Bailey, you think you can read that and go ahead and read
Yes.
that? It's concerning the National Day of Prayer, am I right?
It is.
Okay, would you go ahead and
She's just requesting, street closure, and I assumed that it was, right in front of the gathering place, that's what she's, asked for.
I think it's when she's having that prayer that
It is,
morning.
well, it says set up for 4:30 and tear down at 9, so there's gonna be some praise and worship service music there.
So now, which road is she wanting?
It would be the first block.
First
I
one.
think it's still the same road, it's just
Some type of
Tom.
event, okay. Okay, all right, any discussion there, board members?
I make a motion.
Vice Mayor Edwards made the motion.
Do we need officers just because of people?
What's that?
She didn't mark officers, but would we need them just for people?
They'll be on patrol
Yeah.
during that time, so.
Vice Mayor Edwards made the, motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll, please?
Alderwoman Huskins,
Yes.
Alderwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor, Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
and Mayor White.
Yes. Moving on to 6.4, consider approval of the CDBG sidewalk bid. Mr. Bailey.
All right, as we talked in our workshop, we got our bid back for the CDBG sidewalk improvement plan that runs from Ohio Avenue, up Love, across Mohawk, and up to the high school on Mohawk. That bid came in at $536,754.83, with a $16,000 contingency in that. There will be a shortfall of $12,475 that we budget for next year, because this would come up to after July 1st.
Mr. Bailey, when do you think that sidewalk will be completed? By the end of the summer?
It will have to be, it has a 90-day turnaround for it,
Okay.
so they're gonna get started pretty soon on that
Okay.
after school started.
Any discussion, BMA members? Okay.
Where will this come from in the budget?
It will come out of capital projects.
Do we have enough?
Well, it will not right now,
It'll
it
be
could be in the next
budget.
budget.
We're voting on the ditch and social table right now, we're not voting on the resolution.
Okay, do I, any other discussion? All right, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll, please?
Alderwoman Vaughn,
No.
Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Huskins,
Yes.
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Moving on to 6.5, consider parade request from the Carolina Mountain Truckers. Mr. Bailey.
This was a late request I got in last week. This was initially asked for from Craig Shelton, and the lady that is over with Carolina Mountain Truckers sent in the request. It's a fundraiser for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and they will just be parading their trucks through town.
Okay.
We talked with Chief Tilson, and on-duty police officers would help escort that.
Is it just a
That was
parade?
my question, just that they had an escort and they were
Yes. It'd be the same as the July Fourth parade.
Okay.
Set up as safety was, where we would have roads closed, just escorts.
Right.
And
As long as we had, convoy too.
Okay. Any more discussion on this parade? Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
I make a motion.
Vice Mayor Evans made the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Vaughn made the second. Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll?
Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Huston,
Yes.
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Alderwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Moving on to ordinance 7.1, consider approval of the rezone request ordinance number 757-24. This is the second reading. Mr. Bailey,
I will refer this to Mr. Blankenship.
Mr. Blankenship.
So, on this one, the court arrows are present. On this one, the planning commission looked at this on January 24th and recommended it for approval to the BMA. This does meet everything that it needs to meet to go from R1 to R2. What they're doing is taking a lot and dividing it into 2 lots. And those are the questions that we kind of had to answer. So, planning commission sent it over to you all on the 24th for approval. We've already passed the first reading. Now we're on to the second.
Okay, any discussion from BMA?
Has that been posted? I didn't see a sign in the yard.
Mr. Blankenship.
We did,
the letters.
we did the newspaper, like the First Tennessee Development District asked us to do was the newspaper.
So we didn't do the letters?
That's, we went off of their recommendations.
Okay.
Like we have every other, we have experimented with the signage, it is not required, so.
The reason I'm asking is it's the first rezone that we've had that's different. So usually there's a sign put up in the paper and then the letters are sent.
But we've always done the paper, the only 2 we've ever done the sign are Scott Metcalf and Owen Utilities.
Those are the only two I've been on.
And to be honest with you, we had 1 call over the 2 of them, so the signs are kind of ineffective. But there is a bill in front of the state legislature right now that is going to require it. So we're waiting to kind of see how that goes, and we will tailor our ordinance. Tom and I were just talking about that to mirror the state's ordinance.
Okay, any other discussion, BMA? Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
I wasn't present for the planning commission meeting, it just is odd that there's nothing bordering fellow R2 zones, but.
And the reason for that is because nothing truly there is 15,000 square foot lot. And we had examples of that in the town, where we went from R1 to R2. Primary examples where I live, where they did the Elm Street School. We live in an R1, they put it as R2. So it does meet previous examples.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Hutchins and second by Alderman Baker. Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll, please?
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Alderwoman Huston,
Yes.
Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, moving on to resolution 8.1. Consider approval of extra funding for the CDBG sidewalk project, resolution number 1310-24. Mr. Bailey.
Y'all have that resolution in your packet, that is just the pick up the $12,475 for the CDBG sidewalk grant that we just discussed and voted in.
Okay, any discussion from BMA? Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 1310-24.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, so Alderman Baker made the motion, and Alderwoman Hutchins seconded it. Mr. Bailey, would you call the roll?
Alderwoman Vaughn,
I'm sorry, this is for the resolution for the,
12,000.
$12,000. Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderwoman Huskins,
Yes.
Alderwoman Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Okay, moving on to presentations. 9.1, we have our economic development director, Mr. Finch. Austin, come forward, please. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you
It says
too.
eight.
Sorry, I feel like I've been a little.
Yeah.
Just change it.
Yeah, just change it. It's just an error. Okay, Mr. Fix, the floor is yours, buddy.
All right. So yeah, so it's been a busy couple months. A lot of things are coming together. We're getting some good momentum. Some things I'm happy to share with you. NFS officially turned in as far as industrial updates. All right. So we got a lot of different subjects to cover. So NFS turned in their final information to the state to us as far as how their expansion is going to look. Talking 140 jobs, 150 million capex. And when some of these numbers are thrown around, the place as big as NFS, you don't always consider like how big it is. The TDA rep that manages from Morristown up this way. So this will be one of the biggest expansions of his 20+ year career in this region. So, and that's going to be happening right here. So big plus for us there. And then another bit of really good news for us, and hopefully it shows us things are paying off. I got our first real lead that resulted from our advertising efforts for the Second Street site today. So they're in life sciences, kind of biotech, which are industries of the future. I just heard that at the TDA conference I was at the end of last week. These are the types of jobs that could help our county, could increase our average wage, could bring the kind of investment we need. They want to start relatively small, around the 50 jobs mark, 40,000 square feet, and then expand up, get to the full 100,000 square feet that site is made for, and could be upwards of 600 jobs in 10 years. And so we still have to, fill this lead out. We got to make sure that this is, something that's going to be viable. Make sure that they mean what they say and see, if this is a worthwhile option. But they're working on getting their, business plan proposal over. Obviously, very far from a done deal. We are one of the many places they're looking. But they chose us in particular because of safety. They were looking around Tennessee, and some of the areas that may have available land are not meeting their safety requirements. This stuff is, it's going to need to be secure. People are going to want to break into anything in the biotech space. So the kind of crime rates we have here are very appealing. That's something that we continue to advertise too in all of our materials. So hopefully, that makes a big difference when it comes to advertising the site. But yeah, so it's good news. So we've started these over the last year and trying to reach out, trying to see how we get people's interest, and really want to see what sticks. So it's really good to know that something is working, at least somewhat. And as far as expanding what we have to market for industrial purposes, we all have talked at different times about the public works building, what that can be used for. Is there a way to transition that? We talked working with Senator Sutherland on possibly moving our public works department to the Armory building. Those pieces didn't come together in time. Senator Sutherland moved over to the ECD. The ECD can only provide funding for buildings for very specific purposes, grants that are established, not for this particular purpose. So that's a bit of an issue. But while we were figuring that out with them, I was also completing a very substantial grant for their site development grant, called SDG. I was going to ask for the things that would make this building more marketable. We got a preliminary engineering report, some environmental studies, everything we need to do to market the building, period, but also prepare for this application. They were in our corner, and I talked with them quite a bit. We were going to try to get $3 million, and our match of that would have been relatively small, considering how big this would be. But until the Public Works Department is out, we have a solution. We're not a contender at this time. But there are other options that we can do here. I'm going to get creative, and I got to talk to them more. But there is a $2 million connected community facilities grant. And through that, if we can find a way to purpose the office end of the Armory building for something that involves using broadband, which we happen to have very good services there. And I have some partners that I've worked with, Cloudwise Academy, who might be able to make a connection to make that useful. And then I got to check with the state to see if we could use the other portions of the building for public works. Try to find a solution that can make all these pieces come together and kind of extend our opportunities there. On to grants, we've been trying to extend our reach and get as many grants as possible. We did win, $50,000 for the small business support grant, which is finally materializing. It's been in October, it's taking now to get the contract, but we're moving along there. We're in the final stages of a major expansion for the Naked Mountain Bike Park with ARC. Nothing official there, knock on wood. things seem to be looking positive, and that could be a major help and upgrade most of the federal people. And then it also appears that we're going to win roughly $70,000 in a tech education grant. Kind of workforce preparation. As jobs change, work from home office is available. You have to educate the workforce for tomorrow. And again, that same guy, Cloudwise Academy, can help us start classes here to train our workforce. New jobs, you're talking that you work from anywhere, and make $80,000+ a year. So we need to have those opportunities. So again, waiting the state to officially award that, but I've gotten good news through the grapevine. Kind of just a year in review kind of thing, small business, and the successes that we've had, and how we're working to promote more. I think one of the big ones is the obvious, the Red Fork restaurant. Being supported from multiple angles. They'll be a recipient of one of our grants for marketing. But the town's efforts, help them, get to the finish line as well. And this is something people have wanted for many years as a downtown restaurant. And through collaboration, we are the ones that help them get to the finish line. Obviously, most credit goes back there, but still, it's a collaborative effort. I think it's something to be proud of as far as how everyone's showing up. Also involved in making sure a young entrepreneur participate and create our own business in the bakery that we have. Didn't skip a beat when this closed, Bellfire open. Also the community effort there as well. So things like that, being involved in those conversations are very helpful to keep the community alive and well. Some things we still look to start and look to collaborate on. Things like the Main Street program, which we've had some conversations about. We need to have a workshop about so many of the issues that we've seen, that need additional funding for landmark buildings that we won't name specifically, could have been helped with this grant. Historical buildings, could receive up to $350,000. And different facade improvements, create grants of $50,000 or more to help existing buildings from state funds. Things like that could go a long way to improve the town. And just trying to get all this done, it's a bit challenging. There's a lot of different things and conversations to be involved with. So at our meeting on Wednesday, let's see within our budget, we get approved to do an increase and hire an additional full-time employee, in addition to the intern that we have. And that can extend the reach, and, make me more effective in this role, by being able to delegate some tasks. And, there's a lot of this job that's pushing paper. A lot of this job of being there and answering the questions, write the correct letters, and, be present. And to do all that while pushing big initiatives and really hard work on grants, you get stressful within. So having some additional help, I think could take us up to the next level and really pay for itself. And that keeping the interns in place. The intern we have now has totally digitized all of our records, done some cleanup from the person who had the job prior to me. You're taking thousands of pages and making it something you can actually sort through. It's a big deal. Taking in inventories. A lot of the basic housekeeping that we needed as an organization she helped with. So, keeping those people in those roles could be helpful as well. Any questions?
When's the restaurant going to open? Do you have an idea?
A few weeks. We hope to be open for the festival on the 4th.
Okay. Should be good. Right. Yeah. Awesome. We appreciate the work that you do and the board. And thank you for the update.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion for Mr. Finch?
Are we marketing the whole parcel of the casket plant where the public works is?
When it comes up, we do. Yeah, so we haven't been marketing it just outright. Like, we have 2nd Street put out in the world. We don't do that in public works. It's more specific opportunities from the state.
It's not even ready yet to market, is it?
That's what I'm wondering. Are you going to remediate the whole site?
So there's a few specific things. So when I did the total $3 million ask, that was big. I wanted them to whittle it down. I wanted to repaint it. I wanted to get new offices. I wanted to do all kinds of things. But realistically, what we need to do is move the sewer up underneath this building, which is a liability for anybody who owns it. And also turn the entrance to face Carolina. The big trucks and operations aren't going to go through a residential street to get there. So we can just turn that around, reorient it, and fix the dock doors to make it actually a functioning warehouse again. That immediately changes the marketability.
The reason I'm asking is that's a lot of acreage that you can use. You could potentially have another industrial park there.
Yeah, our biggest issue, when you actually, I can show you the report of where it breaks down where parking needs to go. So if you want to hire somebody to bring here, select somebody who brings in 100 jobs, not only do you need 100 cars, but you need parking spots for the semi trucks. And that the amount of space that ends up taking up is a lot bigger than you expect. And so then, especially if you want to be able to expand that building, by the time you add on another 50,000 square feet of that, and with your parking, you're essentially done. It's kind of a little disappointing there, but it's, land constraints are always our issue.
No, that's the only, if we ever move public works, it's got the 7th Street and this facility, that's it.
Yeah.
And as far as in the whole county.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
We'll see how that goes, but
Maximize it.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, awesome, thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate
Thank
it. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to some updates, 10.0. Ms. Dell from the Chamber of Commerce, please come up. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. We too wanted to provide just some updates to the town, kind of go back, talk about some finished events that we've completed over the last quarter. Our Unicoi County Legislative Breakfast. I know several of you were at the breakfast. We had a great turnout for that event, as well as our Chamber Annual Dinner that was held in March, where we awarded 12 Best of Unicoi County Awards. And over the last 3 months, we were able to coordinate 5 different ribbon cuttings for new business openings, and all were located within the town of Irwin. So that is a celebration in and of itself, with 5 new businesses over 3 months, and we do have a couple of ribbon cuttings scheduled for the coming weeks as well. Kind of looking ahead at events, I want to talk a second about Tennessee Trails and Tunes event. I know we've mentioned it several times tonight, but that event will be held on Saturday, May 4th. We have partnered with the Economic Development Board and Rise Irwin on that event, and I think we have put together an event that the community is going to be proud of, this board's going to be proud of. We have an incredible music lineup, many activities that will go on Main Street. It's the Great Outdoors on Main Street. I think it'll be a great offering for the community, for the region to come out and be able to experience those outdoor activities that we have right here in Unicoi County, that with the anticipation, once they come out and experience it on Main Street, then they're going to want to go out and actually have the real experience. You can kayak, demonstrate a paddleboard on Main Street, then you're going to go out and actually get in the river and do so, which, looking at it from a standpoint of tax revenue, once those folks come back into this community and do that, it's going to bring more money, more dollars, more tax dollars back into the community. We also have a large number of craft vendors set up for the event, a lot of nonprofits. Overall, I think it's going to be a great day, so I really hope to see each of you at the festival on May 4th. Also coming up in May, the week of April 28th to May 4th is National Small Business Week. And National Tourism Week is the week of May 19th through the 25th. So you'll see events and promotions that the Chamber will be conducting in coordination with both of those weeks. And then, as we talked about earlier, on June 22nd, Aiken for the Bacon 5K River Run. That is another event the Chamber has coordinated. This will be our 14th year for the event. Over the past years, we've had as few runners as 100. We've had as many runners as 350. So that is always a great opportunity to showcase the Linear Trail, to showcase Irwin and Unicoi County. Those runners will come in from all over the region, and they typically will spend the day here. They'll come out and run the race. We encourage them to go shop in the businesses downtown, explore the other activities, and a lot of them will take that opportunity to spend the day in Unicoi County. To kind of wrap up the presentation, I want to talk about grants that we have received, provide grant updates, and mention some new grants as well. We did back in, I guess, 1st of April, into March 1st of April, we submitted the Firehouse Subs Grant for Chief Harris and the Irwin Fire Department. So we're hoping that this go around of grants, that grant will be funded. The museum grant, as you know, we announced in November that we have received a grant for the Unicoi County Heritage Museum, the amount of $83,500. And if you've been at the museum in the last few weeks, few months, over the year, you saw the deterioration in the museum and the work that needed to be done. It's taken some time to get contractors together, to get RFPs together, and I want to thank Mr. Blankenship so much for his help in kind of leading us through that process of knowing what to do first and putting those steps in place. But we do have all of our contractors selected. Work should begin within the coming weeks, starting with the new roof on the building. They were seeing some leaks in the building and the roof, some age on some sections of the roof, as well as some areas where kind of the roof was separating in areas where the eaves come together. So we've got a great roofer that's going to come in and redo that. Once that's completed, company will come in and do the gutter, soffit, fascia board, downspouts, and then the final phase of the project, the last contractor will come in and rebuild the entire porch and deck around the museum. And I don't know if you've been out there, but there were places in that porch that were literally crumbling. You were falling through the deck that was there. So once we're able to finish those projects, then we'll move on, look for more funding, more grant money to go in and repaint the building. We had hoped with this money that we would be able to make it through all 4 phases, but because of the cost of the roof, we're not able to get the painting of the building done. But we were able to get the paint donated, so it will still be available. That once we can get the funding secured to finish that up, we'll be able to go in and do that as well. We were also notified in December that we had received a Rural Itinerary Asset Program grant from the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. This is not a dollar providing grant, but it's a service grant in which the Department of Tourism will contract with a marketing agency owned in media. They will travel to Unicoi County and work with us to establish tourism travel itineraries, photograph our tourism assets within the community, and provide media and online services. In essence, they are going to kind of write a script for what a traveler would experience when they're coming to Unicoi County. They will be here in May to work on the project, to do photography, and if you remember a couple years ago, we received a similar grant that was in the fall. So we will have the fall photography and video. This will kind of be the spring, summer photography and video, so we can tie the two together. In total, this grant value has provided over $12,500 in services for Unicoi County and the town. And then we were just notified earlier this month that we had received a second grant from the Department of Tourism that we had applied for. It's a Google optimization program. It's another service providing grant that's a non-dollar grant coming in, where Department of Tourism has contracted with Miles Media to come into the community, work with the chamber as the county's DMO to provide value to our community businesses and our communities by looking at the different social media platforms and Google Analytics for the businesses within our community. They'll go through and provide an audit that they're calling a compatibility audit with Google and the different social media platforms. Provide that information, work with the businesses, and one aspect of this grant that we're really excited about, they've asked us to work, they're going to work with the chamber as well as a committee we put together of different representatives, and we hope to have Ms. Bradley serve on that committee if she will, so that we will have the training to be able to go in and as new businesses open, as time elapses between the end of this grant, that we'll be able to go and provide the service to other businesses that are coming in the community. And the overall goal of this grant is, as you know, in the world we live in now, if you're a traveler and you're looking, you're going to go straight to Google Maps. This audit is going to show any gaps in finding locations, and especially when you look at Unicoi County and you look at rural communities, a lot of our assets, if you're trying to find, let's say, Rock Creek Park, is the specific GPS coordinate going to actually get you to Rock Creek Park? So that's what they're going to look at. They're going to look at the different tourism assets as well as the different businesses. When we applied for this grant, some of the information that we had saw with the grant, the communities that have participated in year one of this grant saw an increase in sales tax revenue exceed $100,000. And some of that was contributed back to this grant and having the right optimization on online presence for their businesses. But in total, this grant value is another $25,000 in services for Unicoi County and the nonprofit. So we're excited as we jump into this one and the other one to be able to bring this to the community. And again, we thank you for your support and look forward to lots of continued success.
Okay, any questions there for Ms. Delp from the board? Ms. Delp, thank you.
Thank
Be busy. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to information. The next board and mayor and alderman meeting will be May the 13th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Do I have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you for attending, ladies and gentlemen.